Donald Trump has made it clear the US president has confirmed that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, as Trump calls him, is dead. This is the big story on CNN News 18 today morning. Donald Trump posting on Truth Social that this is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans and those people from many countries throughout the world who have been killed or mutilated by Khamenei. This is the big message coming from Donald Trump, the US confirming after Israel did that the Iran supreme leader has been killed in the strikes launched by the US and Israel yesterday on Tehran, where the compound where Mr. Khamenei lived was bombed, and now the US president is saying that not just Khamenei, many of his senior leaders have also been killed. To quote Mr. Trump, Khamenei was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems and working closely with Israel. There was not a thing he or the other leaders could have done, and that is why they have been killed. This is a single greatest chance, and Donald Trump staying true to his word, also promoting and saying, vouching for a regime change now in Iran. He's saying that this is the single greatest chance for Iranian people to take back their country. He's saying that he's hearing that many of their IRGC, the military, and other security and police forces of Iran no longer want to fight. They are looking for an immunity from the US and Israel. And Trump reiterating his warning that now they can have immunity later, they can only have death. But who is Khamenei? Why is this so big? Some history facts about Khamenei. He has wielded influence since the 1979 Iranian Revolution. He served as the defense minister, then supervised the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps before being elected president in 1981. I have my colleague who covers diplomacy very closely, Siddhant Mishra. Siddhant, how big is this announcement by Donald Trump and Iran, though it is denying right now that Mr. Khamenei is not dead? What do you make of these claims?
Well, Aman, this is huge. In fact, this announcement is coming from nobody else but U.S. President himself. Perhaps confirms that Ali Khamenei has been killed in the strikes conducted by Israeli and U.S. Forces. This chatter was doing the rounds on social media, Aman, from last 4 or 5 hours. And in fact, each time around, the Iranian side was at the denial that the supreme leader has been killed or the senior leadership has been killed in the U.S. strike. But now, since it is coming from the U.S. president, then it is 100% confirmed that Ali Khamenei has been killed. This was in the making, Aman, from a very long time. If you remember, in 2024, there was exchange of fire between Iran and Israel, direct exchange of fire between Iran and Israel. That was very rare. So with each passing month, each passing year, Israel and Iran were coming closer to each other in a direct confrontation. Earlier, this fight in the region was between Israel and the Iranian proxy. So 2024, there was direct exchange of fire between Iran and Israel. Then last year in June, U.S. and Israeli forces struck nuclear sites in Iran, Natanz, and other places. And since then, U.S. president has been saying that people should protest against the regime, should overthrow the regime, etc., etc. But it looks like that yesterday, when these strikes were conducted, it was decided by the U.S. force to struck specific targets in Iran. Perhaps they had credible intelligence to go ahead and kill Ali Khamenei. And perhaps this is the reason that out of sudden, when second round of negotiations were going on in Geneva, both sides were engaging diplomatically. President Trump had asked Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner to speak to Iranian Foreign Minister Arakshi. And the second round of talks were going on. Perhaps in the middle of that, United States and Israel launched a military operation against Iran. Several places in Iran were struck by U.S. and Israeli Air Force, and now we're getting to know that Ali Khamenei is killed in the U.S. Strike. So it's a huge success for the Trump administration, for the U.S. forces. But Aman, this is going to have a larger ramification yeah, as far as the politics of Middle East, West Asia is concerned.
Well, absolutely. And, Mr. Khamenei led Iran from 1989. So it's been a long, long rule. He has been the supreme leader of Iran since 1989. He's a former president during the Iran Iraq war. In fact, he had survived an assassination attempt in 1981. And why Khamenei's death is so important is that as the supreme leader, he held ultimate authority over Iran's armed forces, the foreign policy. He was always shaping a confrontational stance against Israel, against the US, and he was also overseeing the country's disputed nuclear program, something that Donald Trump had made it very, very clear that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. If I quote from Mr. Trump's message on Truth Social, he's calling Khamenei one of the most evil people in history, confirming that his death. He's also saying and giving some details that Khamenei was unable to avoid America's intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems and working closely with Israel. This is also, Mr. Trump is now confirming that the US worked closely with Israel in this strike on the top Iranian leadership in which Khamenei has been killed. That is what the US claims is. He's also now promoting a regime change. He's saying the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country. He feels that many of their IRGC, the military, other security and police forces no longer want to fight. But we are still seeing visuals coming of strikes coming. The latest being the strike at the Dubai International Airport, which has been confirmed by the UAE authority as well, that a drone has also struck the Dubai International Airport and four people have been injured. Of course, the Dubai International Airport, Siddhant, had been vacated of all passengers because the airport was shut down earlier today. But still, the
Yeah.
strikes seem to be happening still. Do you think Iran's IRGC will give up this fight, or how do you see this pan out after the news of the supreme leader being killed?
Well, Aman, from last couple of hours, it was very strange to me also that the way Iranian missiles were hitting the civilian areas in the region. In Bahrain, Kuwait International Airport was hit. Qatar civilian site was targeted, and now Dubai Airport has been targeted. So there have been three civilian sites which have been targeted by the Iranian missile in Dubai. One is Palm Jumeirah, one of the costliest residential places in Dubai. The other is Burj Al Arab. In fact, that incident has also been confirmed by the Dubai officials, and now Dubai airport has been hit. This is unprecedented, Aman. This has never happened before because UAE and Iran have stayed in touch all throughout, and there has not been a single direct attack by Iranian forces in any of UAE's civilian sites ever. They may not have the best working relations, but the NSAs always remained in touch. There was an understanding between UAE and Iran, and among the understanding was such that even some of the companies which were sanctioned by United States, Iranian companies which were sanctioned by United States, have their offices in Dubai. So they, whatever little oil crude they could sell, they sell it through their Dubai offices. There is a large Iranian diaspora living in UAE. In fact, UAE also may not be officially helping Iran because of the sanctions, but whatever UAE can do as a neighbor to financially assist Iran, perhaps has always been doing. So they have a very good working relationship. They always had. Now, since they stuck Palm Jumeirah, then Burj Al Arab, and now Dubai Airport, perhaps says a lot about the frustration of the Iranian regime because there is this message in the system of Iranian regime that Ali Khamenei and the other senior leaders are no more. So perhaps is compelling the regime now to go rogue and perhaps hit their neighboring countries, civilian sites, and the best of the buildings in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and that is exactly what they are doing. As I said, Aman, not ever, never ever this has happened that Iran has struck or have made such casual strikes in the region. They had their proxy network, Hezbollah, Lebanon, and Houthi rebels. Perhaps through them, they have been dominating the politics of the region. They also have very good ties with these countries in West Asia, and never they struck civilian sites, malls, shopping complexes, airports ever in the past. So this itself shows, Aman, that there is something, there is a message in the system that Ali Khamenei is no more, as US President is claiming, and the other senior IRGC leaders and the senior officials have died in the US strike. I think that is perhaps is making the regime frustrated, and they are hitting and targeting wherever the civilian sites and wherever they could reach, and something which they have never done before. So this itself shows that there is something big which has happened, and perhaps out of frustration, retaliation, these strikes are being conducted. Otherwise, Aman, there is no point of Iran targeting Dubai airport. There are a lot of Iranians working at Dubai airport, Palm Jumeirah. A lot of Iranians live there. As I said, that there's a huge Iranian diaspora in UAE. They have a very good working relationship. Earlier, Aman, whenever this such situation arise, UAE perhaps always plays a very very significant role in speaking to Iran, perhaps requesting them, asking them not to escalate the situation in the region. So UAE has always been playing a positive role with Iran, but today, it was not in UAE's hand also, and perhaps Iranian regime, the leadership went all rogue and perhaps targeted civilian sites in UAE. But this is all because of the frustration, because they could sense that they are losing against the US and the Israeli forces. And the supreme leaders premises have been targeted, the senior leaders have been targeted. So it is all because of that frustration of losing against the US forces that the civilian sites are now being targeted by the Iranian missiles.